Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Simone here. So today I'm going to be doing a new series from my channel, and I got the idea of this from the blog, the book blogger Lost in a Story, who I'll link below, and it's called Down the TBR Hole. And basically this is where you go through your Goodreads TBR and you go back to the oldest ones that you've put onto your list, and you take the first however many you're going to do, and you go through it and you read the synopsis and you decide whether you're going to keep it or it's going to go off of your TBR. Now I am also going to kind of incorporate a slight section of this from Books and Lala, who I'll link below, and she's just sort of coming to the end of a series where she watches her book hauls from 2 years before, and if she hasn't read the book she's got to read them that month. So I'm kind of going to do the same thing. I'm going to do this monthly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the top 10 books, like the top 10 from that list kind of thing. And if I own them already, like if I choose to keep them on this list, if I own them already, then I have to read them that month, is what I'm telling myself. If I don't own them, I will try to order them from the library, but I'm not going to make myself do that because I know that library books come in and out and whatever. But if I'm going to have a little list that I'm going to keep for the books that I'm going to order from my library, and if the books from that thing are on there, then I will do that. Otherwise I will obviously get rid of them. So I'd love if you join me to do this. So yeah, definitely spread the word. I think that it'd be really cool. I currently have 1,804 books on my Goodreads TBR, which is ridiculous, seeing as I read about 100 books a year. So that's going to take me 18 years to read if I don't add any more books on there. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Also, all of the books I have here are not on that list. Not all of them, so I mean, it's just not going to happen, is it? So I'm just pulling up my Goodreads now, and I think I might do the top 10. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's begin at the top. So the first book on my Goodreads TBR is Spectacles by Sue Perkins. Now, Sue Perkins is a comedian who was one of the, like, Mel and Sue, the like duo that were on the Bake Off, the Great British Bake Off, and I think Sue Perkins is amazing. She's a brilliant woman, and I definitely want to read her autobiography. So I definitely want to get this one from the library this month. Hopefully I can do that, but I don't own it, so it's not one that I have to read, but I'm definitely keeping it on my TBR. So the second book is Hellraisers by Alexander Gordon Smith, which is the first book in the Devil's Engine series. This follows it's like kind of a horror story, and it is about the Devil's Engine, which is this machine that will grant you a wish, but you have to put your life on the line in order for it to be a thing. And it's about an asthmatic boy who essentially puts his life on the line and to see whether it comes true or it'll kill him first. Now, I am not the biggest horror book reader. I like thrillers, like I like Stephen King, but to me Stephen King isn't that kind of horror, in that it's not like the devil, and I don't know, I just like Stephen King's writing in general. I think I'm going to get rid of this one off my TBR. It's been on there since like 2016, so I feel like I'm probably not going to read it at this point, and it's a start of a series, and to be honest I've started so many series that I've not finished. I really need to kind of get on with it, so I'm going to get rid of this one off my TBR. Book 3 is Passenger by Alexander Bracken, which is the first in a duology, I think. I'm not entirely sure how many books are in the series. I'm going to keep this on my TBR. This is a sort of science fiction, time travel, historical fiction type book, and it's kind of ticking all the boxes for me. I don't know too much about it. I do enjoy books about time travel. I read the first 15 Lives of Harry August, and I also read How to Stop Time by Matt Haig, and I've loved both of those, and they're both about time travel, so I'd like to do this one. I know this is obviously the start of it's more than one book in this series, trilogy, whatever it is, but I feel like because I am really excited to read it, hopefully I would read the next ones fairly quickly after this one, so this is one I will definitely look at getting out of my library. Book number 4 is The Infection by Craig DeLuey, which is the first book in the Infection series. Now, this is a zombie novel, and I'm going to be honest with you straight away, I'm keeping this on my TBR because I really love zombie novels. It's like my guilty pleasure. This follows a virus that basically kills millions of people, and then 3 days later they all wake up as the infected, and their sole mission is to spread the infection. And I love books about viruses, and I also really like I watched the film Contagion, which was one of my favourite films, and I love that whole thing. Like, it really scares me, but I also really enjoy reading about it. So I feel like this is definitely one that I'm going to enjoy. And I love the whole like sort of trying to survive when the whole world is like dying, and I just, something about that is amazing. So definitely keeping this on my list and hoping to get it from the library soon. Book number 5 is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, which is the first book in the Witchlands series. Again, this is a series, but I am going to keep this on my TBR because this is kind of a young adult fantasy type book, and I like young adult fantasy. I don't really like high fantasy kind of books, but this follows two young witches who essentially are forced to leave their home, and they are fleeing, and one of them is a truth witch, so she has the magical ability to tell when somebody is lying. And yeah, this sounds great. I love this kind of fantasy, and it's definitely one that I want to read. I've heard really good things about on BookTube in general, and I feel like I'm going to like it. Again, this does have sequels, I know, but I feel like this is one that I will enjoy, and I'm hoping to read it soon. Again, this is one I want to get from the library. I don't own a lot of the books on this list, to be honest with you, because I just don't tend to put those ones on my Goodreads. But I'm keeping that one. Book 6 is Awakens by Elise Kova, which is the first book in the Awakens series. I'm actually going to get rid of this one off of my TBR because this is kind of like an elemental magic, like Sorcerer's Apprentice type book, and that's not really the type of book I like to read. I'm just not really into that sort of thing, and it's the start of a series again, so if I can cut down on the number of series I start, that would be great. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get rid of that one, so bye bye off my TBR. Number 7 is Gone by Michael Grant, which is the first book in the Gone series. I've heard a lot about this from Two Paper Girls channel, who I'll link below, and to be honest, I've been wanting to read this book for ages. I just haven't got a copy yet. So definitely one I'm going to keep on my TBR. This basically follows a world, like a dystopian world, where all of the teens are still there, but all the adults have disappeared, and all of the like technology has disappeared. So they have no phones, no internet, no television, and they're trying to figure out what's going on and trying to not starve to death and all the other things. I mean, it sounds great. I think it's like a 6-part series though, which is quite, and the first book is like 550 pages long. So, but I do really want to read it. It's one I've been really looking forward to, and I'd love to start it. So this is definitely staying on my TBR. Book number 8 is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. This is a book set in Japan about a young girl who is being bullied, and so she decides to end her life, but before that she wants to chronicle her grandmother's life. And her grandmother is a Buddhist nun who has lived for more than a century. Then across the world on a remote island, Ruth finds a box of Hello Kitty items and a diary, and she then is sucked into Nao's life. Nao is the girl who was bullied, and she then obviously doesn't know what happened to Nao, whether she did kill herself or whether she doesn't know what her fate was, and it's the story of how that all goes together, I think. I feel like I do want to keep this, but I don't know. I'm not sure if it's something I will like. I'll be honest though, I haven't read a lot of pretty much any books that are set in Japan, so I think I might keep this and give it a go and see what I think. I am also kind of skeptical about magical realism books, which this is apparently. I'm not the biggest fan of that sort of thing, so I might give it a go and see what I think. I definitely will get it from the library, and then I guess I will see from there kind of what I don't know. I'm really kind of skeptical, but I will keep it on there for now, and see what I think about it, and then decide if I'm in love or not. Number 9 is Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. This is a very well-known YA book that a lot of people have talked about, because I believe the companion novel, or not the companion novel, there is a novel that's just come out by Becky Albertalli called The Upside of Unrequited, and some of the characters kind of are in between. And also I think that there's a film coming out called Love, Simon, which is to do with this. This follows Simon, who is gay, and he's not, but nobody at his school knows, and he meets this guy on the internet called Blue, who he kind of has communications with, and then somebody finds out about those emails and threatens to tell everybody about the fact that he's gay, and it's kind of that story. I'm going to keep this because I have heard so many good things about it, and I really love the idea of this book. I need to read more diversely, I know, and I feel like this is definitely a good start, so I'm going to give it a go. So the final book that I'm going to talk about today is Revenge, written by Yoko Ogawa and then translated by Stephen Snyder. This, I believe, is a short story collection. It's kind of like horror. Again, it's set in Japan. And I am going to take this off of my TBR. I haven't heard anything about this. It's not something that I've kind of had any kind of prior knowledge about, and it's just not the type of thing I really want to read. Again, I'm not into that sort of horror, and I don't really like short stories about horror. I read a couple before and they were okay, but I don't think that they're really my thing, and so I'm going to remove this from my TBR. So I think I did fairly well there. Out of the first 10 books on my TBR that I went through, I have actually decided to get rid of 3 of them, and I have 7 of them now that I need to read this month from the library. So I'm going to start uploading these, I think. I don't know when I'm going to upload them. It's not going to be like a set time each month, but I'm thinking what I might do is I will get those books, read them, and then I will come back to that. So I will do like a wrap up type thing, and then talk about the next series, like in the same video maybe. I'll obviously let you know. So my hope then is to order those 7 books. I'll either buy them, if some of them I want to buy, so like Simon vs. Homo, Sapiens, Gender, I'd quite like to have. Whereas some of them I'm not sure about, so I will get them from the library, and then I will obviously get back to you and let you know what I think. So I hope that you like this new type of video. I'm really excited about it. I was kind of inspired by a few different places for it, but as I said, I'll link those things below. Let me know if you'd like to join in with this type of thing and do the same thing yourself, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!